All right, let's dive in. We're about to pull back the curtain on something that is totally changing sports betting as we know it. I mean, forget everything you think you know about how odds are made, because artificial intelligence is literally rewriting the entire playbook.
Seriously, just picture that for a second. You know, the old idea of seasoned bookies in some back room going with their gut feelings? Well, that's all being replaced by pure, raw processing power. A single AI is now calling the shots, and believe me, it is a complete game changer.
You know, for the longest time, making odds was this fascinating blend of art and science, but it leaned really heavily on intuition, right? On that gut feeling. Well, now, the art is pretty much gone. We are living in an age of pure cold science, where every single decision is based on hard data. Human emotion, it doesn't even have a seat at the table anymore. So let's get into it. What does this new AI-powered bookmaker actually look like? I mean, how does it really work? And what is it that truly separates it from the old way of doing things? Okay, this is where things get absolutely wild. The AI isn't just looking at a spreadsheet of stats. No, it's like a digital sponge, and it is absorbing everything. We're talking weather forecasts, last-minute injury news, even the sentiment and the buzz happening on social media. Think about it. A star player tweaks an ankle in warm-ups. The AI has already crunched the numbers and adjusted the odds before the announcers even mention it on the broadcast.
And here's the part that just blows my mind. This AI isn't just a passive observer. It's an active player. It's running millions of potential game simulations every single second. That's a scale that is just impossible for a human brain to even comprehend.
And that right there, that's the AI's superpower. It never gets tired. It never has a favorite team. It's totally immune to the emotional ups and downs of a huge game. It is just a pure, relentless engine of cold, calculated logic.
So, this raises a huge question, right? If the house is armed with this kind of super intelligent AI, what hope does the average person betting have? I mean, how can you possibly go up against a machine that seems to know pretty much everything?
Well, the answer is, you don't fight fire with fire. You fight AI with AI. Bettors are now bringing their own artificial intelligence to the battle. And just like that, we find ourselves in the middle of a full-blown algorithmic arms race. The battle lines have been completely redrawn. It's not about human intuition versus the house anymore. Oh no, this is a digital war fought between competing AIs. So let's break down this digital battlefield. The bookmaker's AI, it has this massive home field advantage. It's got access to this treasure trove of private data, stuff we can't see, while the bettor's AI has to make do with what's publicly available. And their goals? Totally different. The house's AI is playing defense, trying to balance the books and guarantee a profit. The bettor's AI, on the other hand, is always on the attack, constantly searching for a weakness, any tiny little edge it can find.
And that information gap, that's the whole ballgame right there. It's not really about who has the smarter algorithm, it's about who is feeding their AI the better data. And right now, the house is serving up a gourmet 5-course meal of information, while the bettors are basically fighting for scraps.
It's really like sitting down for a chess match, only to find out that your opponent already knows your next 5 moves before you even make them. That is the kind of massive advantage we are talking about here. The sportsbook's AI is playing with a totally stacked deck, and the bettor is constantly trying to play catch-up. I mean, look at this. This visualizes that information gap perfectly. The bookmaker's AI is seeing the entire picture crystal clear in high definition. The bettor's AI, it's like they're trying to watch the game through a tiny keyhole. It is a fundamental structural imbalance that is incredibly hard to overcome. So, okay, we've talked a lot about the technology, the algorithms, the data, but what about the people? What happens to the soul of betting when it just becomes a game played by machines? Does that human element, that thrill of the chase, does it just vanish?
Well, there are 2 very different ways of looking at this. The optimists, they think AI is going to bring in a golden age of fairness, a world with no human error, no bias. But the pessimists, they see a much darker future. A cold, mechanical world where the house always wins because the game is rigged from the very start.
But what if it's even worse than that? What if the AI isn't just setting fair odds? What if it's also studying you, learning your betting habits and figuring out exactly how to push your buttons?
Let's walk through this scenario. First, the AI dives into your entire betting history, analyzing every single move you've ever made. Next, it starts building a psychological profile of you, pinpointing your tendencies, your biases, your weak spots. And then, the final step, it starts to subtly manipulate you, offering you specific bets and custom promotions that are scientifically designed to exploit your vulnerabilities and ultimately to keep you playing and losing. This isn't science fiction, it's the logical next step of the technology.
So as this future comes rushing toward us, we have to stop and realize that maybe we've been asking the wrong question this whole time.
See, this isn't a question of if or when AI takes over. The reality is the future is already here. The AI is already running the show.
So, the real question we absolutely need to be asking is this. When the machines are completely in charge, who's watching the machines? Who is going to make sure the game is still fair? And who is looking out for the human on the other side of that bet?